Greetings from the farm. Hope you're well. My name is Shisha Folotia and I'm so glad to have you back with us here on the Mondo Farms channel. It's a busy Saturday morning here on Riverside 1 and the team, as you can see here, is hard at work. So what are they doing? The guys are preparing the ground for a crop of cucumber that's about to be planted here on Riverside 1 DEF. Normally on the channel, we will share with you a long story, 30 to 40 minutes long, that's giving you the story of the crop. We call it a crop story. And we take you from when sometimes we tractor it, sometimes we prepare the beds, then we plant the seed or the seedlings, we transplant, then we start putting in all the crop protection stuff, we start putting the feeding, the nutrition, all of the stuff that goes towards having a healthy harvest. And that's normally where we end the story. But I thought, let's break it down a little bit and actually show you just part one. Part one will be taking you through how we actually prepare the ground, what was here before and what we've done up to the stage whereby we're almost ready to start planting. Stay with us. So starting by getting our bearings right, let's know where we are. We're at Riverside 1 and over there on the eastern side you can see some onion beds there, and those are nurseries for the last hybrid onion crop that we're planting, and we should be transplanting it very, very soon. They are looking good, but we won't talk about them now. This block is empty, that's A, B, C, and on this side we find ourselves on block D, E, and F. And we're going to be moving a little bit closer. And the main focus will be on these blocks here where the team is working. What have they been doing for the last X amount of days and what is happening? So here at Mondo Farms, we haven't yet bought a tractor. So when we need the services of a tractor to come in and do some disking, plowing, etc., we actually hire one. There's quite a few of them available locally. It does get a bit funny at certain times of year when there's peak demands, but that's the basic Keynesian in economics, right? Lower supply of demand. So a couple of months ago, we brought in a tractor to come and do some disking, plowing of a lot of beds here. When we bring a tractor, we try and maximize what it does. So on the same day, it came and it did a lot of work at Westgate as well as over at Dubai. And it also came down here to Riverside 1.
This part has been left because of the road going up to Riverside, and this one goes down to the river. It separates and divides the blocks.
Busy day. Tilipa Riverside 1. Permittance of plowing. At rest. Shito eve on ya sevenzeka bwino. Tractor plowing up bwino.
So after the tractor came, the ground was nicely plowed and it was ready for planting. We then got busy with onion. Onion has been our major crop from around about March, April, May, June, July. We're doing onion things and a bit of eggplant things and pepper things and other things. And now we find ourselves in August and we need to start planting those crops that will take us through the second half of the year. They're set, as you know, crops are weather dependent. There's certain crops you can only grow at certain times of the year if you want to grow them well. That's open field and it's a whole thing. We won't go into it now. We're going to be planting cucumber right here on Riverside 1 on this part, as well as when the onions are done over there, we'll also go and remove those ones. They're going to be going somewhere else, and we'll be planting some more cucumber there. But here on blocks D, E, F is our first batch of the cucumber. So the ground was tracted. I used the word tractor, which I learned from Jeremy Clarkson. It's a wonderful word, and it's accurate. It was tracted, and it leaves you with the ground that's kind of a little bit soft and whatever, but it doesn't exactly have the fine tilth, and you still have a few clods, what we call in the local language here, amabuma. Let me actually show you amabuma. So looking down, this is an example of a boom. This one, clod. It is a clod. It is a big bunch of soil. And what we have to do is we have to send the guys in. They use some water, they wet the beds, and they actually start breaking these clods. This is another one of those back-breaking work that we do here at the farm. So these clods are in the ground, they're all over the place. And if we planted the seeds in this ground as it is, you'd actually find yourself in a situation whereby some of the seedlings would be coming out after germinating, coming out, and then they'd find this big boulder in its way and it wouldn't work. So we want to achieve what we call in farming a fine tilth. And the fine tilth is achieved by breaking up the clods. And here on our farm so far, we don't have a rotavator yet, so we send in the teams to do it manually. They literally go in there with the hose and picks and stuff, and they start breaking it. First we wet the ground, and then they actually go in, and that takes a couple of days.
So the guys are pulverizing, breaking clods.
So after a couple of days of that, the ground is ready. And what we then do is to measure out the blocks and determine how big and how long, where the blocks are actually going to be. And we use ropes and strings and stakes in the ground and all sorts of things to make that happen.
So we're here at Riverside 1, where we started with the demarcation of our bed here at Riverside 1 DEF. So we are leaving this space as a road that's next to this cliff here. Then guys are getting weeds and other plant debris that are here to make sure that the land is clean and it's safe to work on. So this whole line here is about the total length from the far end there to where the road is about 67 meters.
So from where I'm standing now, you see a very interesting thing. Up there on the top of Riverside, this is Riverside 1, of course, down here, the buildings and the tanks and all of that. And over there is one of the water reservoirs. And we built that water reservoir especially so that it actually drips the water and drops the water down here onto Riverside 1, starting from over there all the way down there. It's about 300,000 liters. It's a big, big, big water reservoir, and it works especially for this place. So these are the 3 blocks that we're going to be planting the cucumber in. Now, you might ask yourself, why didn't you just do one long line from there all the way up to the end there? And the main issue that we have with drip irrigation is we have what's called a factor of 10. So these blocks are all about 25 meters because our drop from there is about a 3-meter drop from where the bottom of the base of the tank is. So that's your gravity. People will remember it from physics, and so it limits the length of the beds that we have. we're also used to and don't mind having shorter blocks because they're easy to manage. You can walk up and down and back and forth. So this is about 25 to 30 meters or so, I can't exactly remember. And then you have a space, a 3-meter space. This spacing is very helpful because this helps us to, one, be able to manage the crop. This is a big crop that's going to be here. And it also helps us in terms of diseases and insects. They can't cross this barrier. Insect tries to, a little worm tries to walk across here or a thingy, it gets snapped up by the birds and the other predators that get it. So these spaces, and there's one here and there's one right over there as well. So these are the blocks. You've got block D here, E here, and F. And now we take a closer look at how we actually lay out the beds for the cucumbers. Now, if you've seen other videos we do where we were planting onion, and with onion what we do is we make a 1 meter wide bed with a 50 centimeter spacing in between. With cucumber, it's the opposite. How does a cucumber grow? Behind me here, you see here where I'm standing, the cucumber is going to grow big, probably about 1 to 1.5, 1.8 meters, up to 2 meters tall. And we want it to have enough space to grow with all the trellising that will happen. So we leave this, we put this furrow here, one line of cucumbers, and then there's a space which is 1.5 for us, and another one, just like that, and another 1.5, and another one. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Similarly on this side as well. So we know we want 1.5 meter spacings in between the 50 centimeter beds. Sorry, it's getting a little bit technical, but farming is science. You just have to do your maths, do your numbers, and this is how it is. And then we come in and we dig these furrows.
Guys, yena ngwasende msapeleke deep maningi. Kai muno mnali matractor so ting mwinango kuri kuja kuside kumwamba kuja kwenze koyuma so kuno mungakitenga timwende mpeze poi padoti azaenda deep maningi. Tifuna mwetina kamsanja beka 20 cm kuenda past that ikafaka compost inotiende past maningi.
The furrows themselves are about 20 centimeters deep. You can see that there. I'm using my foot and my hand to kind of give you a scale of how the furrows are. And they're about 30 centimeters wide. And they have a very, very special purpose why we do it this way. And here's a design that our farm manager, Tyson, came up with the other day that shows exactly what we are going to be achieving here. So you can see from the cross section that we have 20 centimeters down, 30 centimeters across. But the most important thing is what's going inside in the middle. And that one is filled, this what we call a fertility trench, is filled with organic material, which is this compost and this chicken manure. And we mix them up together. Oh, beautiful, beautiful organic matter. And some might ask, why not just use the chicken manure in its own state? Why do you have to mix it with the compost? It's because chicken manure on its raw state can be very, very, very strong. It's full of ammonia, full of nitrates. And you've often heard farmers talking about how chicken manure inayocha, it burned the crop because it was just too thin and it was too strong. And of course, you're dealing with a seed that's coming out of its thing. So you need to be kind of a little bit softer. So we find that we moderate the strength of the actual ammonia content in there with the compost, and it's nice and fertile, and it continues breaking down for several weeks.
Tinyamula chicken manure. Chaki hapa nayo machebu ino na hivi manje. So hapa zafu ile hapa mwita tengere yuma zafu na tipush ngine kuja. Tenga compost. compost ile mai. So hapa method ya miticide titenga 2 yoba ya compost manure, then tibwa titenga 1 wheelbarrow ya chicken manure tishita mixed ndeba meti ambo faka mu furrows yatu ya so tien beulani leta wheelbarrow tenge chicken manure. Azul. Then my change ambo cha mixed. Pita teka chave.
Na hapa sasa tuwasaidia donse maningi
Sasa zina bateri batani. Hapo futi.
Na hapa futi. Sasa nkutira So we are putting a combination of compost chicken manure at 10 centimeter depth, and this is an example of how our beds will be raised. So from here where it is, then this is the 20 centimeter raising of the furrow. So, and this is how the beds or the containers will look like. Angalo vya nse proto kwa ekutia mbotenga po bwanji tikaibosta mix. Yeah. So Joseph, lelo tirafaka cheumo then mailo popo faka mo contriji ye jazabwati faka ntambo sati tibalance maona tiamba kupenda sembe mweze mwenda so
zabwati faka ntambo mailo wayambo kanga pika.
Okay. So from the video, you've seen there the team explaining how exactly they make these beds. But to reinforce that, because I remember when I was first researching this, it was hard for me to understand exactly how does it work and exactly what happens. So let's take another look at what we've just seen again. And this time I'll show you step 1, step 2, and step 3. So the guys were moving from that end, they were coming down here, and here we can actually see exactly how it works. So we've got 3 of them here. This one has been covered And you can see the stakes here with all the string that we're doing here. I hope that's very clear. Then we've got another one with a piece of string here, and it's actually half covered. And here is a furrow that is still full of the chicken manure compost mixture. That's down here, as you can see. You can see that there, and they will be coming and they will be covering this. So here's one, I've just caught them in the middle and they've gone for lunch. This is one where they're now filling up this thing here, and they will come, when they come back from lunch, they'll come and they'll continue. So first we make it flat like it is here, and then we start raising it, and we use, of course, the stakes, these one stakes, to guide us so we don't forget where were we, what were we going. It'd be terrible to come and put the ridge on top of a place that doesn't have manure inside. So this is now step 2, where we're now covering it, covering up the organic material inside there, and we move on. 1, 2, 3. My beds, and then we finally come to some almost completed beds. Now here we call this in our farm the tabletop, and this is where we're going to be coming to plant the actual cucumber seeds. We'll be planting them 2 in a diagonal pattern at about 30 centimeter spacings. I think they'll be coming along here. And that is basically the end of the process. Once we've achieved these tabletops here, we can then move in to start planting. Oh, before I forget, the drenching. We are going to drench the beds. Now, what do we drench them with? We drench them with a product called Recharge, which is one of the Russell Bio products, and which we get from AgriFocus. And it's basically an organic bactericide, nematicide, miticide. And what we're really worried about is all the cutworms that may be in the ground, the little eggs that will be in there, as well as the nematodes. The soil is full of horrible things that want to kill my profits. Honestly, all they want to do is eat the crops that I give them. No, I'm sure there's some innate plan that nature had intended for them, and I'm the one who came here and decided, no, let me use this ground for my farming. But no, we can't work with them. Nematodes are just something you just can't work with. And nematodes can do significant damage to your crop. So before we plant, we drench. We do what we call a full drench when it's a new bed, and then we do that, and then that kind of helps us to defeat those guys. Interesting thing I've just noticed here is a little bit of soya. Now, this is because, as you know, we had soya planted here during the rain season. So all across here, you have those soyas here. And actually, we take them out. We actually remove them because at one point it was a crop that gave us a good return. But now it is a thing that looks like a cabbage or a cauliflower. Oh my goodness me. Goodness. What are you doing here? Where? A bit of soya here. Yeah, we take these all out because we don't want them growing and disturbing the cucumber crops that are coming in here. Another really important step in preparing for a crop is to do soil sampling. Now, I have to be honest. We haven't been exactly very good at soil sampling here at Mondo Farms for a while, but we're grown up now, and you know, this is another high value crop. We're planting a hybrid. So let's take care and let's just, we have time to do things. We're better sort of organized now than we were. I have to be honest, the good, the bad, the happy and the sad, the real part of farming. So anyway, we have a little bit of time. So we're going to do some soil sampling. Soil sampling is when you check your soil and they see how is it in terms of its composition and in terms of the natural minerals and stuff that they are. Granted, this is a place where we grew a crop of soya during the rainy season, so we're pretty confident that nitrogen ilipo, it should be okay. And these are the little envelopes that we came up with to send our soil samples to the lab. So let's look at what it says. Soil sample, the sample date, what is the farm. This is the field, the block, so it's Riverside 1, block DEF. The size of it is 60 by 30, and the proposed crop is cucumber. So that's basically what we use. It's just a little A5 envelope, and the plastic is in there, Ziploc, that takes the sample there. This is a good enough quantity that they can use as they're assessing the thing. By the way, we also decided at the same time, since we're going there, to also send some samples of our compost that we've been making. So here is our outdoor compost, and this is the one from the compost house itself. We want to see the difference between what was made using soya chaff and what was made using some other leaves and stuff. So we see how the components of those ones are as well. So there you have it, a very detailed look at exactly how we make the beds to prepare for the cucumber crop that we'll be planting here next week. We've gone through the beginning of how we brought in the tractor after the soybeans had been harvested, and how we broke up the clods to create the fine tilth, how we dug the furrows and how we filled them with the chicken manure and compost mixture, and then how we filled up on top. We topped until we reached the stage of actually having what we call the tabletop. So as I said in the beginning of the video, this is a short one. It's just part one of the Cucumber 2022 story. And it's basically just covered, as we've said, just how we prepare the beds. The next phase will be drenching, and then planting of the seed, and then looking after the seed as we watch our little babies grow. And then we'll be coming in with some trellising, and we'll be coming in with some harvesting at some point. We're going to be sharing a lot more updates on this cucumber crop over the next few weeks and months as it comes up, and we will try and break them up into bite-sized pieces rather than those long crop stories that we've been having in the past. We're keeping the YouTube channel Mondo Farms, keeping it growing and developing and changing how we do things over time. If you want to stay with us on our journey, you can subscribe to the channel. Subscribe means you press the subscribe button below, and if you can, press the bell icon, and then YouTube will always send you a notification when there's a new program. If you like the video, please press the thumbs up button, and that really helps us with the algorithm, because the more videos that are liked, the more YouTube looks at the popularity of the channel and the video itself, of course, and then is able to suggest it to more and more people. We have had so many people who've been liking the videos, and we really appreciate it. It's not that I'm insecure and I want you to like me. No, please, nikondeni. This is a technical thing. If you're my YouTube na imwe. You can also share the channel. There are groups, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, farmers, cucumber farmers and all of that. And you can share with them, say, this is how we do bed preps on this one. Or perhaps you've got a worker at your farm and you want to show them exactly how they do things here. Like, for example, here at Mondo Farms. Then send them this video and show them, say, imwe, nima mene wachitire ivuveba zatu, ngaifetinga chite bwanji. Quick comment, we don't always say that the way we do things is perfect, but this is how we do things, and the point of YouTube is to share our journey and to share how exactly we do things. If you do your beds for cucumber differently, comment below. Tell us how you do your beds in your part of the world, wherever you are. We'd always like to learn more and to see more. I want to thank everybody for joining us here for this very short video, and I promise you a lot more coming up. I am going back to Lusaka now because I'm going to watch Thor with the kids in the evening, so I'll do a couple of other things and then head back. Thanks again to everybody who's been part of our farming journey here on YouTube. So many people from across the world actually giving us all their support, and we hope to keep hearing from you. And we'll always promise to keep giving you a video round about every week to 10 days or so. My name is Yusuf Olotia, saying bye from Riverside 1, Shalanipa. Bye-bye.